Welcome to the Coaching Seat TV with Toyinda LaShea, where we're all about sitting in our seat of authority so that the kingdom citizens can be infused with the power to dominate confidence, unleash potential, and leave a legacy. Now, this is accomplished by extracting limiting beliefs, distractions, and interferences. I am Toyinda LaShea, a prophetess, best-selling author, business consultant, master coach, public speaker, mentor, and a threat to hell's kingdom. Welcome to our January broadcast. I am so excited to be with you today. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be sharing this month. I'm so excited that the Lord has allowed us to make it into January 2021. So this month will be a month of focusing on all things purpose, choices, courage, and change. I am super excited because my older sister, yes, we are blood sisters. My older sister, Dr. Heather Henly, is joining me in the studio from Chicago, Illinois. She's opening up the month with a discussion about choices, courage, and change as we are entering into 2021, so that we can become the best version of ourselves throughout this entire year. Now, Dr. H, that's what we call her, she is an author, an executive coach, and listen to this, the master of crisis therapy. She shakes up the broken to swiftly bring their junk to the surface to enable them to deal with it right now. Listen, your new is now. Your new is now. She promotes mass healing very quickly versus individual healing, which is really slow. And she has a proven track record in getting amazing results in the most hopeless situations. Now, Dr. H is a licensed mental health counselor with credentials as a certified sexually abusive youth clinician. She's a registered behavior consultant, a qualified mental health professional, and she holds a PhD in psychology with a concentration in Christian counseling. Now, as I move through this broadcast, I want to encourage you to grab strategy that's going to allow you to, number one, improve yourself. And number two, improve your organization so that your organization can function as effective kingdom citizens. Dr. H, welcome to the coaching seat. How are you, girl?
I am good. Thank you, Toy, for such a awesome invite. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful. Listen, I want to get right into it. Is that okay?
Let's do this.
Okay. All right. Who is Dr. Heather Henly?
Well, I am a CEO, I am a mom, I am a wife, I am the master crisis of therapy, I am a deliverer, and I am a prophetic thruster, along with being a global speaker.
Listen, I love it. And when you say prophetic thruster, what does that mean? What does that look like? I experienced that this past Sunday with you at my affirmation. So what does that look like?
So when you thrust something, you are pushing it into its purpose or pushing it into destiny. Mm-hmm. And so even as we're talking about making choices and courage and change, when you are trying to be thrust into something new, right? You walked in, you stepped into 2021, you were actually thrust. There was a wind that was underneath your wings things that kind of threw you in there. So you were pushed into it. And so when we're talking about making choices, courage, and change, we want to be thrust into the purpose, into the will of God.
Wow, I love it. Listen, you blessing me today. You are blessing me today. So listen, in a lot of your work, what you do, you help people bring their junk to the surface. Yes. And I will imagine that us, the saints, listen, the church folks, we have a lot of junk that we hide a bit. And I know that you operate in deliverance. Talk to me a little bit about how you help people to bring their junk, especially us church people.
Well, one thing is that when you are trying to bring people to freedom or healing, the biggest thing is that we want to make sure that is a choice, which is why we're talking about those 3 C's. It has to be a choice. But once the individual begins to make that choice, they begin a journey with God. Because deliverance, it happens, but once you begin to unlock doors, because deliverance, you unlock things. Yes. So once you begin to unlock doors, everything that's hiding behind the door comes forth.
Wow.
So it's a process when we are working through deliverance. And so just as believers in the body of Christ, it is sometimes difficult for us to recognize or understand that just like our Christianity walk is a process, that deliverance is truly a process as well.
Yeah, and I loved how you said it's a choice, right? Deliverance has to be decided. We choose to be delivered.
Yes.
I love that. And I love that just the path that you're taking. I know that you wrote the book, I Am an Orange, Uncompromisingly.
Yes.
What caused you to write this book?
Well, I wrote it was over a period of time because in college, I went through a phase just as a single mother and even being able to understand who I was, what I carried.
Oh, God.
And so during that time, I needed to be delivered from a lot of things. I needed to be delivered from abandonment and rejection, just things that came down from our lineage.
Yes, I understand.
Just our parents trying to do the best thing, and me trying to maneuver through even the mistakes that I made in life. So it came at a place where I was extremely broken. Places at times when I wanted to commit suicide, but I was too scared to kill myself because I didn't want to go to hell.
Listen,
and so when you're in those
God.
type of places, or when you're trying to get free from your own demons, or I got molested at 7, but you guys didn't find out until I wrote the book.
Absolutely.
So just those type of issues that I was dealing with, even as a single mother. And so God began to deal with me about trying to obtain freedom, even in the midst of everything that I was going on, and even trying to understand what I carried.
Yeah, and that is really, really good. How did you come to the understanding of what you carried? How did you come to that understanding?
Well, it took some time. And even at 48, I still struggle. But what I had to come to the realization is that I had to go back and do those 3 C's. I had to make the choice. And so with making a choice, I had to stand on everything that God had said about me. And I had to believe the things that he said about me.
That's good.
But my hard part was the courage, because we look at their faces. I'm concerned about what you say. I want our parents to validate me, right? I want my friends to say, you're doing a great job. So the hard thing was me finding that courage. But once I found the courage, once I just had a little bit, the Bible talks about just all you need is the mustard seed's faith. So once I found that courage, it changed my life forever. And I couldn't go back at that moment.
I love this. So courage was really the toughest part in this process of the 3 C's.
Yes.
How did you find the courage?
Well, when you get to your lowest point and no one is there to help you, and the only thing you can do is revert back to what you know, Revert back to what you know when you have to just lift your hands up and call on Jesus, because you say, if you don't come in and rescue me, if you don't stop me from drowning, if you don't pull me out the fire, I'm going to literally die, and everything connected to me is going to die. When you realize that, that's when God sends a helper. He sends something to almost build you back up.
The Paracletus.
Yes, And that strength comes in, and you just take one step. And when you take that step, it's a thrust. That's why it's a push. And so once you take that one step, it's a thrust, and you like, whew, I can do this. And so then you can't come back at that moment, because you actually have obtained a success.
Wow. I want to go back just a little bit, because I want us to be able to, we have a faith-based listeners, and I want our faith-based listeners to understand how to begin a process of transforming their congregation, transforming their senior leaders, transforming ourselves. Look, let me include myself in it. Let's walk me through those 3 C's again.
So the 3 C's would be choices.
Okay.
And so you have to be able to encourage your partners, your members, to make sound choices. And so when we're talking about sound choices, we're talking about choices that augment change, choices that pushes you into the next level, strategic choices. So, we make just like we're in 2021, coming in, I stepped over and said, I'm going to lose weight. But that wasn't a strategic choice, because that choice wasn't pushing me into destiny. Why? Because I already feel that I'm healthy. It became a strategic choice if my health was affected. So when we're talking about making strategic choices, it actually aligns us with God's will for our purpose.
Absolutely. And for me, it's bringing to the conscious, as a coach, right? Bringing to the conscious the fact, making you aware of the fact that this isn't a strategic choice. And so let's talk about what other types of choices can help you. So go to the next C.
So then after that, it's the courage. And so courage is always hard, because fear, it actually immobilizes us. It causes us to almost be in a state of being paralyzed, where you just can't move forward. And that fear causes you to stay and remain stagnant in the place that you're in. Because if I step out, what if I fail?
That's good.
But I failed 3 years ago. And so now I have 3 years ago of failure built up on top of me saying that I'm going to step out. And then what happened 10 years ago when I failed. So what happens is when you are trying to find your courage, you have to go back to infancy, where the first fear stepped in, because you have to be able to come back how you feel about yourself, or the perception that has already been created in your mind prior to this particular choice that you're making.
So the mind. And so we have to really take on this new nature and let our mind be in Christ Jesus.
Yes, and renewed. It has to be renewed daily. It has to be.
That's huge. I love it. I love the 3 C's, and I know that final C is change.
Yes.
Right? But we got to get to the first 2 first.
Yes.
I love it. Listen, I want to understand what you have coming up. Like where can people buy the book? What you have coming up? I know you have a few things coming up. Just share with us what you have coming up.
Yes. So I have, in the month of January, I will be doing a course on stabilizing difficult clients.
Okay, wonderful.
And this course will be able to help individuals to stabilize the clients that are difficult to work with.
I love that. And that's your specialty.
Yes, that is my specialty.
How can people purchase the book, and where can they find you? How can they reach you?
So you can find me on Facebook at Arthur Heather Henly. You can go to my website, which is www.heather-henly.com. And when you go on the website, please subscribe to my newsletter. And also you can find me on YouTube at Dr. Heather Henly, where I have moments with Dr. H on Thursdays.
Wonderful. And the book is there as well.
And all of the books are there.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Listen, I have enjoyed my big sister. I love her so. Thank you so much. You have been watching the Coaching Seat TV with Toyinda LaShea.